Throughout all of science and creation, there are a few things that are universally accepted to be constant. Gravity, the speed of light, and my personal favourite hypothesis: video games make bad movies, and movies make bad video games. And there is plenty of evidence to support that statement. Star Trek, released in 2013 and based upon the movies in the J.J. Abrams reboot of the beloved franchise, is considered one of the worst games of all time, a list that, according to Wikipedia, also includes such beacons of mediocrity as Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2017, Aliens Colonial Marines 2013, The Simpsons Wrestling 2001, Superman 64 1999, Friday the 13th, 1989, and the now infamous shower of shit that was 1983's E.T. the Extraterrestrial. And the less said about movies based on games, the better. Looking at you, Mortal Kombat, Super Mario Bros. And Warcraft, Streets of Rage, take note. But not every crossover misses the mark. EA handled the Lord of the Rings IP just fine. No, sit down, Warner Brothers, we aren't talking about you. And somehow this thing resembling Sonic the Hedgehog managed to get good reviews. It got me thinking, what TV shows and movies that never got a video game deserved one? What cast of characters hasn't been digitised that absolutely should have been? You know where I'm going with this by now. Welcome to my 5 TV shows and movies that don't have a video game tie-in that probably should have list thing. I really need to work on writing snappier titles, don't I? Number 1. Archer. My rules for this list are very short. It has to be a TV show and or a movie, and it can't already have any kind of video game tie-in. So let's go ahead and break the second of those exceedingly simple rules right off the bat. Yes, Archer has the mobile game Danger Phone, but we don't talk about that. Quick review for you here: it's shit, don't bother, watch paint dry instead, or go full Cheryl and eat the paint. It'll be healthier for you than playing Danger Phone. Disclaimer, don't eat paint, it's really not healthy for you. But as an entity, Archer has all the ingredients to make a good video game if done correctly. For those that haven't seen it, Archer is an animated workplace comedy drama with a quick and often filthy sense of humour, a colourful cast of brilliantly portrayed and deeply flawed characters, brilliant writing, a very enthusiastic fanbase, and plenty of action. I imagine an Archer game to be a shoot-'em-up adventure, ideally written by creator Adam Reed, but that might be too much to hope for at this point. Following Archer through one of his ridiculous adventures, it would have potential for lots of cutscene antics and some trademark fast-paced sarcasm. The skewed reality the TV series inhabits would naturally lend itself to a semi-open world format, and give us plenty of varied and exotic locations to explore. I think it would be a solid choice.
Phrasing.
And one that got some good hard traction.
Phrasing.
Especially if it was pumped to its full potential.
Hey! Phrasing!
Number 2. Lucifer. The devil is a pretty common subject for all kinds of media. Heck, Diablo is literally named after him. But when DC Entertainment, Warner Brothers and Jerry Bruckheimer teamed up to produce Lucifer, a TV series based upon the Sandman comic book series written by Neil Gaiman, Sam Keith and Mike Dringenberg, it was immediately noticeable that something was different. Featuring some brilliant performances from Tom Ellis as the titular Lucifer Morningstar, Lauren German, Kevin Alejandro and D.B. Woodside of Buffy the Vampire Slayer fame, it follows the story of Lucifer as he leaves hell and goes on a vacation to Los Angeles to run a nightclub, Lux, and become a consultant detective for the LAPD. It is in equal measure an occult cop drama, urban fantasy and rip-roaring comedy. Why yes, I did read the Wikipedia page. The original run on Fox lasted 3 seasons before cancellation, sort of a running theme with Fox, but Netflix picked it up in 2018 and from then on it has gone from strength to strength. But why does it deserve a game, and what kind of game would it be? I shall answer the second part of that question first, because I have what I think would be an awesome idea, but it's a bit of a journey, so bear with. I would develop an LA Noire style game for the police elements with a JRPG combat system. The combat we see in Lucifer ranges from quick martial arts, gunplay and demon-esque occult powers. Fast-paced combat games have tried several times to properly mimic the swipe and parry nature of martial arts, and I think this would also work as a combat system for this game, but given how each character in the TV show has their own clearly defined set of skills and abilities, angelic or otherwise, the JRPG turn-based system would allow for deep characterization, specialization, and a less controller-mashing, more tactical experience. And this style would also lend itself to a larger and deeper overarching story than a button-bashing combat game, at least in my opinion. As for why it deserves a game, it's the writing. Tom Kapinos has done a fantastic job developing the TV show, creating a wonderfully well-formed world with deep characters, albeit with a rather formulaic structure to each episode. It doesn't throw you too many curveballs, but that's not why it's here. The individual story beats are well put together and presented, and the cast is a very strong one, delivering the scripts with a talent and nuance that you might not expect from a cop show. If you manage to get a good studio, sign the original cast onto the project, and get the writers on board as well, we could have a fantastically hot product on our hands, and give Lucifer Morningstar the digital tribute that he so fully deserves.
I am the one and only Lucifer Morningstar. The devil. Dark Lord. For goodness sake, Beelzebub!
Number 3. The Conjuring Universe. Okay, so let's be real for a moment. We have enough horror video game experiences to fill all of our underwear for many lifetimes over, and some might point to the Blair Witch game of 2018 as to why I am immediately wrong, but hear me out. When James Wan delivered the first Conjuring movie back in 2013, it took the horror universe by storm. Here we had a genuinely scary, thrilling and cleverly produced horror flick that actually had audiences not only clinging to the edge of their seats, but desperate to look away whenever the film goes silent. And if the craft that was used to create such a tense and utterly enthralling horror experience for the screen was put to work in a video game, I have no doubt we would be in for one of the most horrifying digital experiences of our lives. The pacing, the use of silence and old school scares, and the grounding it has in alleged real-life events, not to mention the wealth of physical material collected by the late Ed and Lorraine Warren, the real-life paranormal investigators that inspired the franchise, give these movies a sense of depth that many other horror movies can only dream of attaining. There are so many case files that the movies have yet to touch on, and I would advise that this would be the direction to go, rather than retreading the well-known horror stories of Annabelle, the Amityville Horror and the Nun, that there is so much scope for a nerve-jangling, first-person horror experience. Add into that Ed's profession, a self-taught demonologist, and Lorraine's reported psychic abilities, there could be some great sequences as you uncover an occult mystery that not only keeps us guessing and second-guessing at every turn, but also keep your heart racing as you explore the dark, empty rooms or whatever setting you choose out of the multitude available. Whether you believe everything the Warrens reportedly experienced or are a skeptic, a Conjuring video game given the same care and attention that the movies were given could not only be a fantastic standalone IP, but it might change the way we look at horror games forever.
I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
Number 4. Four in a Bed. There is no easy way to segue from pulse-pounding, slow-burning horror to a TV show about B&B owners slagging off each other's establishments, but here we are, so let's just take a deep breath, accept our life choices, and muddle through as best we can. For the uninitiated, Four in a Bed is a Channel 4 programme where 4 bed and breakfast owners spend a week staying in each other's hotels, judging the quality of their stay and paying what they believe the rooms to be worth, and the winner is the B&B that gets the highest percentage of their asking price and the coveted Four in a Bed plaque, granting them fame and an opportunity to add at least 10% to their prices. Now, I know what you're thinking, and no, I'm not smoking anything, nor can I smell burnt toast. I genuinely think this would be a great premise for a game. I would market it as a house flipper meets The Sims meets Cooking Mama. You would start by purchasing a random derelict property, possibly procedurally generated to add an extra level of replayability, and first have to do it up into the B&B of your dreams, then start to build up a portfolio of happy customers. Once you make any tweaks that they leave in your feedback forms, you then get to apply for the TV show. Once you're accepted, you get to visit NPC establishments to see if they measure up, and you have to impress them with your own. This is where the Cooking Mama element comes in. Make sure you don't overcook that fried egg, or God is my witness, there will be some serious shade on those feedback forms. But, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, it would not be a primarily single-player experience. Think of the online modes. You could do a full experience where you build the hotel as above and then just randomly join a group of 3 other players and run the TV show, but what if there was a timed build mode? Imagine, you could be given a large amount of money to transform your derelict starting point into a presentable B&B, but once time is up, that's it. Then whatever you've managed to cobble together has got to get you through the judgment part of the game. And you and your friends could team up online and create your own B&Bs and judge each other's. Maybe there could even be a sabotage mechanic where, when the TV cameras aren't watching, you could sprinkle dust or dirt or pubes, ideally your own, in various rooms to allow you to undermine your opponents. The possibilities are endless. Honestly, I think that a game like this would be very, very fun to play, although, let's be honest, it would become YouTube fodder very quickly. It would probably explode for about a year and then fade into obscurity a la Turbo Dismount. Jeez, remember Turbo Dismount? But none of that changes my opinion. Now please fill in the anonymous feedback form, but be warned that any negative feedback will be met with a sarcastic passive aggressiveness and a completely justified £40 underpayment based on the pubes I found on the bath towels. What? No, they're not mine. They were there when I got there.
Hairs on bed. That's really disappointing.
Number 5. Inner Space and Osmosis Jones. Yes, I know 2 films is breaking the rules, but these films have a connection and they both encompass what I'm trying to say, so hear me out. Admittedly, their premises are very different and they would both individually make good games, but perhaps a fusion of their concepts would create a unique experience. Inspired by the 1966 film Fantastic Voyage, Inner Space is a science fiction comedy in which Dennis Quaid, as part of a secret experiment, is miniaturized and injected into Martin Short, as opposed to the rabbit he was supposed to be injected to. They then have to find one of the 2 microchips that are needed to extract Quaid's character, which has of course been stolen, and the only other person who can help them is Quaid's ex-girlfriend, played by Meg Ryan. Hilarity then ensues, along with a genuinely enthralling race against time to get everyone out of this alive. In contrast, 2001's Osmosis Jones is a part animated, part live-action family comedy starring Bill Murray, Chris Rock, Lawrence Fishburne and David Hyde Pierce. The action takes place inside Bill Murray's body as we follow the story of Osmosis Jones, a white blood cell cop, and Drix, a cold and flu tablet, as they attempt to stop the deadly virus Drax from killing Bill Murray. Hilarity ensues, along with a genuinely enthralling race against time to get everyone out of this alive. But the plots are honestly less important than the setting as to why these concepts deserve a game. The human body has, amazingly, not been used as a full setting for very many games. There are levels within such titles as Microcosm, Gears of War 2, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and others, and there are a few very obscure games that are set entirely inside the human body. The 80s game entitled Fantastic Voyage, loosely based upon the 1966 film, indie title Pathogen Wars, education experience The Body VR, and the seemingly lost German title Bacteria. This last was allegedly inspired by Inner Space, but it has apparently been wiped from the face of the earth. But with the scope on offer, I am genuinely amazed that no developer has gone down the anthropomorphic route that Osmosis Jones has taken, or the full sci-fi adventure of Inner Space. I would make this game a huge open-world experience, using the blood system as fast travel, 45 seconds around the entire body is after all a pretty fast turnaround, and have a disease or medical conundrum at the centre of it. You could then have the choice of whether characters are the cells that already inhabit the body, or human scientists that are sent in to help the body's defences. I think an RPG game fully set within the human body is something that the gaming industry has seemingly passed over, and it's a bigger mission. The scope and potential for a good, in-depth story, let alone the freedom that designers could be given if you suspended disbelief and made the body's architecture based more on imagination rather than science. And if it was based either loosely or faithfully upon either Inner Space or Osmosis Jones or similar titles, you would have a good, entertaining base upon which to create a literal, living, breathing world.
I need some aspirin. What? Please, I'm begging you for some aspirin!
Well, there you have it, my take on 5 TV shows and films that deserve a game in their own right. If you think I've missed any, please let me know in the comments. I've been Chris for Invicta magazine, and thank you for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed it, please do give this video a like and a share. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and keep up with all our latest content. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, plus we stream regularly on Twitch, and you can find all those links in the description below along with our website. See you next time. Goodbye for now.